Hi, it's Karen. Today I want to talk a little bit about complaining. Now, we all have complaints about life now and then, and probably voice those complaints now and then as well. But I want to talk about complaining because, in a way, it really sort of gets a bit of a bad rap, right? It makes us sometimes look like we're a little small or maybe a little selfish about things. And we come across in a way that probably isn't very well received by those to whom we're complaining. And we may actually find ourselves complaining to ourselves because not everybody wants to really hear those complaints. However, I want you to look at complaining in a different way. Think about your complaints and then reflect on this. All complaints are essentially unfelt grief, and complaining is the mouthpiece of unfelt grief. Because if you notice, when you complain, it doesn't really ever feel like there's an end to it. There's no resolution to it. It's just there and it's there and it's there and it just keeps coming up. But if when we are complaining, we become present and we notice, what am I complaining about? And what is behind that? That is a point of grief for me. What am I grieving by offering this complaint and expressing this complaint? And that is so huge because once we start to notice and we start to actually come back to ourselves and start to feel those feelings of grief, two things will happen. One is that we'll find we won't be complaining as often because instead of expressing something outward, we'll realize we can take care of it inward. And so we'll start to make opportunities for ourselves so that we can feel the grief that's behind the complaints. And the other piece is that we'll have greater compassion for ourselves when we feel the need to complain, and we'll also have a greater insight into others complaining. So instead of, turning a ear away from someone who wants to say something or who has a complaint, you can hear the complaint, but do it with compassion, and maybe just encourage them to go a little deeper with that complaint because complaints don't have to last forever. They're just that little voice that comes out and in a way signals us to say, hey, there's some unfelt grief down here that needs to be handled so that we can live more freely and more happily. And that's my self-honoring thought for you today. Have a great day.